Hi and welcome to our Let's Talk. My name's Claire at Dundee Carer Centre, and today I have Kirsty from Women's Wellbeing Club in Dundee. Hi Kirsty,
Hi, thanks for having me along.
thank you for coming along. I really appreciate it. So Kirsty, just tell us then, what is Women's Wellbeing Club and how can people get involved?
So, Women's Wellbeing Club is a peer-to-peer support group, specifically aimed for women, anyone who identifies as a woman, and it's really just a safe and a confidential space that women can come along, talk about maybe things they're struggling with, if they're experience a bit of a low point with their mental health, if they're kind of struggling with a mental illness, you know, whatever it might be, loneliness, maybe you're a bit isolated. There's really no kind of set criteria that you have to meet. It is really just an open, safe space for anyone to come along and meet other women. And that's really what we want it to be, a fairly sociable event. The pandemic, I think, sort of really spoiled us in that our social skills completely
Yeah.
depleted. Um, we weren't really seeing or speaking to people. A lot of folk became even more isolated. So what we want is for it to be quite a relaxed atmosphere. So everything we do over a cuppy. So whether you're a tea or a coffee person, it's all provided. You don't need a referral. You don't need to
Okay.
let us know you're coming. You can literally just turn up on the night and yeah, come in and have a chat with us. So the Dundee group
Hmm.
specifically, because we have 11 other groups across the UK.
Okay.
So we have obviously Dundee group runs out of the old Lynch Sports Centre, which is now
Oh
the
yes.
Change Centre.
Yeah.
So it's up in South Road. So the number 28 bus stops right outside.
Oh,
The bus
perfect.
stop is literally on the doorstep,
It.
and the bus home is just on the other side of the road. So it's really accessible.
Mhm.
There's free parking, and there's disabled access as well.
Okay.
So there's a ramp that comes in right the back. Um, and yeah, it's just we meet in their big media room. So it's a lovely, bright, open space. There's no, there's not. Sorry, there are six facilitators
All
now of the
right.
Dundee group. So when we started in April, there was a sort of group of four of us had been going through to Perth. The
Hmm.
Perth group has been running for quite a while. So
Okay.
four of us were going through and using the club through in Perth, and we decided that we would sort of team up and launch Dundee. So you have myself who leads it. My second facilitator is Shirley.
Mhm.
She's a mental health nursing student. We have Vicky, who actually volunteers and works alongside street
Okay.
soccer. We have Megan as well, who works within Dundee. We've got, who else have I got? I've got Sarah and Jean, both of who started coming along to the Dundee group and have now joined the facilitator team
Oh,
as well.
amazing.
So
Oh, good.
yeah, and we've got Izzy. Izzy volunteers with street soccer, and she kind of helps us out setting out the room and making the tea and coffee and stuff like
Oh,
that. So,
lovely.
so I'm very biased, but we are a really nice team.
I bet.
Um, we're from a variety of backgrounds. We're from all sort of different professional backgrounds, or not working, or coming through our own sort of issues and
Hmm.
crises with our own mental health, our own well-being. And we're not there as professionals, and that's really important for us to highlight, Claire, is that we are not there to kind of tell you how you should be doing things.
No.
We're not there to sort of give professional advice. We're really just there to support. Um, it's not a case of the facilitator sit and tell you how you should be doing things or should be feeling. The structure of the group is that when we start, we read through a list of rules. The rules are important for us to highlight because they kind of go over the main points of the group, which is confidentiality. So every single week we do read out that this group is a safe and confidential space, that what is said within it is not shared out with. And we also don't share who comes to the group. So some people want to be quite anonymous, and that is absolutely fine with us. So we don't judge whoever comes along, because we've all been that sort of lady walking in for the first night. We've all been there coming along the first time, and it's hard. So we know what it's like. So we're just there to make that step a wee bit easier, for someone to come in.
That's good.
Yeah, and then we kind of have a set list of 3 questions. So what we do is to ensure that everybody has a chance to talk, to make sure that everyone gets sort of their time for them to get things off their chest. We pass a beer around the room, and the rule is that it's only the person that's holding the beer that's talking. And once they finish sharing, so we kind of go through, like, how has your week been? Give us a positive from your week. And after each question, it gets passed around. And then the third one is, if you get anything to get off your chest. Now, that could be anything, from a rant about your husband not picking his socks up off the floor, whatever it might be, or just that you're really struggling with things. And, we're there just to listen. We understand there'll be people in that room who have been through maybe not your exact circumstances, but they'll have been through something similar. And I think there's a real power in actually coming together with other women and saying it's okay to feel like this. It's actually okay to struggle. And I always feel, as women, we're quite hard on ourselves, that we should have everything together. We should kind of be the glue that holds a lot of things together. We're there for various other family members. We're often running a house, holding down a job, looking after children, whatever it might be. And actually, it's okay to go, no, do you know what? I'm really struggling. And I just want to talk about it. So that's what the group essentially is.
Sounds great. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And like you say, sometimes it's easier for people to speak to people who don't know, isn't it? Like coming to a room with strangers and just offloading. It's easier than maybe speaking to a friend or a family member.
Absolutely. And Claire, we've had women who have come along for one night and then not come back, because actually all they wanted was just to get it off of their chest. And that's what it's, you don't have to come every week. You don't have to make a commitment to be there every single night. And it's a Tuesday night. We all of the women's wellbeing groups run on a Tuesday night, and they're all, I think most of them now are at 6:30. So it's 6:30 till 8:30. And occasionally we might sort of go overtime, but very rarely. We have a coffee break as well in between. But for that time, if you only need to come one night, that's fine. If you want to dip in and out, once a month, whatever it is, you do what suits you. The group is there for people to use as they need it, not as we think they need it. So it's absolutely, and as I say, open to anyone from over the age of 18. Just because for sort of insurance purposes, we have to have a sort of lower age limit. So from 18 up, and we've got quite a good list of services that we can signpost people to, just for sort of extra support, extra help. And we've got a closed Facebook group. All of the clubs have a private Facebook group, and that is specifically for that area. And it's just a continuation of the group for every other day of the week. So some people might just share like wee funny things, or if someone's struggling, they might put it on, and it's really just, again, supporting each other, helping each other through those. Absolutely. And really that's it. It's such a simple concept, but it's really powerful. And I think for us, we were really keen to launch it in Dundee, because I think it's a kind of a city of really hardy women who
Yeah.
just keep going. And there's that perception that, you kind of don't mess with a Dundonian woman, do you? But
That's no.
actually, I think what we really wanted was to give women an opportunity to come into a safe space to say, actually, on the outside, might look like I'm doing really well or I've got everything together, but actually, I'm struggling with my anxiety,
Yeah.
and the pandemic really, I think, brought about a huge increase in people's anxieties. So to be able to have somewhere that, on a Tuesday night, you've got 2 hours that's just for you, it's been really needed, and we've had really, really good feedback,
Good.
about it. We've got anywhere between probably 10 and 15, 16 women come
Wow,
along
that's
every week.
great.
And we've all got to know each other quite well. Been a lot of friendships formed through it and
Oh,
things.
that's
So it's been great, Claire. It's been really good, and very excitingly as well, we're actually just about to launch our 7th group in Scotland.
wow.
So on the 11th of October, we'll be launching in Arbroath.
Oh,
Um,
very good. Good.
so we've got a team of ladies already sort of going through training and different things, who are really keen to get the Arbroath club up and running. So that'll be the
Oh,
11th of
that's great.
October.
Very
Yeah,
good. So what's the space?
yes,
Arbroath. Good.
Arbroath,
Good.
and it's down at the football um,
Oh,
stadium in
yeah. Yeah.
Arbroath,
Yeah. On the front.
in the cabin at the front. So so they'll be
So,
meeting 6:30 on Tuesdays from the 11th of October.
okay, great. And it's very accessible there as well, isn't it? I was just there the other
Yes,
day. So a lot of parking out on the front and stuff too.
yes,
So good.
parking at the
Very
front
good.
and disabled access and everything as well.
Perfect.
So yeah, yeah,
Oh, it sounds
yeah,
amazing, Kirsty. It really does. And like you say, it could be once a month you come along, it could be once every couple of months, but just
yeah,
knowing that that support is there, because
absolutely.
I think you're right. We're all kind of wearing a different hat every day, or maybe several hats in a day. And I think just sometimes just taking that break and that breather for yourself for that 2 hours
Yeah,
could make a big difference.
yeah,
Because we don't want people hitting that post, hitting that brick wall. You want to
yeah.
kind of get to a better stage before that happens. That's where we're hope anyway, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think it's breaking down the stigma around actually that we can't talk about
Yeah.
sometimes, that life is hard.
Hmm.
And I know that there's been a lot of really sort of like widely publicized campaigns around that.
Hmm.
But I think specifically in Dundee as well, the need that we saw was that women very rarely actually spoke about, they always were looking for help for other people.
Yeah.
They were looking for help for other members of their family, and actually not recognizing how much that had affected them and their well-being.
Hmm.
And that's, I mean, it's why it's called Women's Wellbeing Club as well, because anything that's caring for your mental health is part of your well-being. That is self-care. Self-care is or often was previously really seen as a selfish thing, and it's absolutely not.
No.
Because how can you look after other people if you're not looking after yourself?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
for us, it's really important that we actually make sure that we are in a good place,
Hmm.
that we are able to talk about and process our thoughts, our emotions. If we are caring for other people, if we are looking after and helping others, we can actually do it better if we're looking after ourselves first.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
And I know we do have contact details for the hub, well, for the club, sorry, Kirsty, and we'll put them in the comment section below. So if
yeah,
people do want to get in touch with Kirsty, we'll have an email address that people get if
absolutely.
they need to find out a bit more information.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, well, it sounds great, and I'm really. It's good to hear that people are accessing this type of club in Dundee, and I'm hoping a lot of people who are listening to this today do find the time for themselves to
hmm,
do so. And like you say, people will be a bit anxious going along to new things. But even just making that first wee step in the door for 5, 10 minutes and walking back out again, at least you've made that
absolutely.
that step. And then next
Yeah,
time you come back for a bit longer, baby
absolutely.
steps.
Yep. And there's no judgment about that
No,
either.
no.
You know, because it is the first time I went along to one of the groups, I didn't speak at all. And I'm definitely not the only one that was like that. And it took me quite a while to feel comfortable enough to actually share anything. I don't trust very easily.
No.
And I think that's the way the group is designed, is that that's fine. You know, and some people will, you know, after someone has shared, there is a chance for women to maybe offer that support of, you know, I've been through something very similar, this is what worked for me. But, you know, it's, if the person doesn't want to take any feedback, then they can say that. And what we see is, you know, we encourage women to set boundaries. We encourage them to stick to them, and we encourage everyone else to be really respectful of that.
Yeah.
And that's what the facilitators are there to help with that. There will be a facilitator outside to make sure people know where to come, to welcome people in. You know, we've got a public Facebook page that people can go on and have a look
Yeah.
as well. That's just Women's Wellbeing Dundee. And yeah, you'll see we share different things. If you scroll right down to the bottom, you'll see there's, when we launched in April, we've got sort of bios of each of the facilitators. So you can see a
Oh,
mugshot
good.
of us and a
Okay.
wee bit about us, and that way, you know, you kind of know who to look out for,
Yes.
and some of the faces that you'll see when you're there as well. But yeah, I promise we're a really nice bunch. You know, we always have a laugh at some point in the night as well.
Which is needed as
So
well, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, it's really great to see friendships forming as well. So absolutely, we'd love to see anybody else come along. You would be so welcome. We'd
Great.
really love to have you part of our group.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much, Kirsty, for that. It was great to hear all about it.
No
And if
bother.
anybody does have any comments or questions for Kirsty, please put them in the comment section below or direct message us, and I will make sure Kirsty receives these and we'll get back to you in due course.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
No,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
for that,
Claire.
Kirsty. Take
No
care.
bother. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.